Okay. Can you hear me okay? 10 seconds, 11. There's one. Is that you? That's okay, hello. Just gonna wait for a few people to pop up on here. You good? Okay, so I got Alex here. For those of you just joining, got Alex here helping me out. So we're just gonna give a few seconds to load up on here, and we'll get started soon. We're doing well. Oh, okay. Just testing out this system. There's a bit of a lag here for people when I say it, and then it actually goes live. So first time using this. I'll just give it a couple more minutes, or just a minute or two, get people loaded up. If you're just joining, if you have any questions specifically about today, just write it in the comments spot on the right-hand side. If I'll see it pop up on my screen. Hi, Shafali. Okay, great. So I'll just give it another minute or so. And thanks very much for joining on today. Okay, so I might as well get started, and as as people join on, we'll connect. But thanks very much for coming on today. It's just right at 12 o'clock here, so I'll try to get to your questions. So if you're just joining again, just ask your questions on the screen here as well. So my name is Mark Belache. I'm president of TorontoJobs.ca. and as well as TorontoEntrepreneurs.ca, broadcasting live from our office in Mississauga, and it's a snowy day here today. I've been in the recruiting business for 25 years, and this is the first time I'm actually doing this type of webinar to our social media. So as we do different things at TorontoJobs.ca, we'll try to do some other aspects that are kind of unique. We'll probably be doing some Instagram live stuff, LinkedIn live, and so on. So over the years, I've helped a lot of companies with all their staffing needs and all types of different positions. And just thought, this would be a bit of a give back to the community. And so some of the things I wanted to talk to you today is, first off, why we're doing this. What's happening right now in the market. Obviously, there's all kinds of stuff, and everybody's hearing different things. How coronavirus is impacting the recruiting industry, how it's impacting TorontoJobs.ca. I've made a list of 12 things that I think if you've been laid off or if you lost your job in the last week or two, what you should do. So I'll go through that list with you. I'll cover any questions that I'm seeing come through on the side here as well. And just we'll talk about how TorontoJobs.ca can help you as well. And go through some questions as we're going along here. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of unique situations and people talking about different things. So I'm happy to cover off as much time as you need. I was expecting that this would go until 12:30. Maybe it might go longer, but I'm here for even up until 1 o'clock if there's still questions coming through. I wanted to thank Alex as well here in the office for helping me out today. We're a bit of a skeleton crew today, given the stay at home and self-isolation. So it's just the two of us, and we're staying well away from each other. So we don't catch anything. We've got our 6 feet between us. So it's all good. So he's going to be moderating as well, maybe take some questions off and so on. So while we're doing this, kind of came up as an idea last week, where a lot of people are obviously at home. A lot of people are concerned about their jobs or what their scenarios are. So I wanted to give back a little bit to the community. Want to help people who are in need right now, need an outlook to speak with someone. I think there's a lot of seminars that have been canceled, a lot of events that have been canceled, as I'll talk about as well. And there's also been, obviously people are at home or self-isolating, which is a good thing. And wanted to give some advice to job seekers on what to do in this type of environment. And by the way, I'm going to give away some prizes at the end of this as well. So if you stay tuned till all the way to the end, you have a chance to win a prize. So what's happening right now? Obviously, COVID-19 or coronavirus is the story. It's everywhere you go. You can't get away from it. There's been lots of layoffs. I mean, let's be clear that there's announcements last week of 500,000 people applying for EI, which is, the number is completely staggering. Like in the 25 years that I've been in this business, I've never seen 500,000 people in 1 week. I think at the height of 2008, 2009 crisis, it was there were about 80 or 90,000 jobs that were lost in February, March of 2009. So this is staggering. I don't know what's going to happen. I wish I had a crystal ball, but companies are scrambling to try to figure out what to do. Do they lay off? Do they keep people? Do they change what they're doing? It's unfortunate, I know. So the purpose of today is to give you some ideas as to what to do if you are in the midst of a job search. But at the end of the day, there's layoffs, there's temporary layoffs, there's downsizings happening everywhere. You might have heard about Air Transat this morning announcing some temporary layoffs. Air Canada announced some last week. The cruise industry is pretty much hammering all the different areas. So I'm here to try to give you a little bit of hope. I mean, how coronavirus is impacting the recruiting industry in Toronto Jobs.ca specifically. Certainly recruiting orders are down. There's still companies that are hiring, of course. Even in a down market, there's going to be opportunities that are going to present themselves. So, for example, Amazon and Walmart are hiring right now. The healthcare industry is definitely in need of people. They have announced also that a lot of manufacturing companies are helping to try to create some products and items that can be used in the healthcare industry, which is great. So taking some of those manufacturing plants and having that. But at the end of the day, some of our clients have put things on hold. They've postponed hiring. They've just said, look, let's just wait till this is all said and done, and they'll move on to something else. We're also on our end, we're receiving more resumes than we had in the past little while, especially over the last 2 or 3 years. And unfortunately, on our end, we've had to postpone some job fairs, which I know has always been a great connector of people. We've had, we were supposed to have the TO Tech job fair. We had the Mississauga Career Fair in February, but for some of you that may have been registered for the Toronto Career Fair, that's unfortunately has been postponed, and the TO Tech job fair as well for tech candidates has also been postponed. So that's impacting our event, our business as well. So again, if you're just joining us, my name is Mark Belache. I'm president of Toronto Jobs.ca and Toronto Entrepreneurs.ca. I have Alex here helping me out as well for administering this. If you have any questions, feel free to just pop them into the drop them into the box on the side here, and I'll cover them off as I move forward through this. I expect that the presentation side of this will probably take till about 12:30 or so, maybe a bit less, and then I can cover off some specific questions that I'm not only receiving through the box here, but I'm also that I also receive by email. So thanks very much for spending some time with me today. So I made a list of 12 things 12 ideas of things you should do if you've been laid off, if you've been downsized, if you're worried about your job, things that you should prepare for as well. So I'll just go through this list here with you. Now, first thing is it might be hard to say, but be positive, right? There's a lot of bad news. Like everywhere you hear, it's like bad news. You turn on CNN, and it's like, it's all bad news. People are dying all over the world. People are dying in Toronto. People are dying in Canada, and so on. So, really trying to be as positive as you can. Take a deep breath and don't panic. And I'm coming from it from the job search perspective. Connect with positive news and positive people as much as possible, because it can be, and I go through it myself too. Like everywhere you go, it's screaming of bad stuff, bad things, bad news everywhere. And the media thrives on bad news and fear. So, try to be try to be as positive as you can in your job search. Secondly, I would say, getting your resume updated and getting a coach if you want, but definitely get your resume updated, put it up, get it, have somebody look at it, check for spelling, grammar, formatting, and so on. Have perhaps a friend look over it for spelling and grammar. Make sure that your information is up to date. Make sure that your dates are accurate. Make sure that your LinkedIn profile matches up with your Facebook as well, or with your LinkedIn matches up with your resume, because there are some inconsistencies that recruiters will find with that. So that would be number two, getting your resume updated. Number one, as I mentioned, being positive. Number three is do a career evaluation of what you want to do. So one of the things that I always find that's really useful is really at knowing and understanding what makes you tick, like what makes you, and what makes you, what kind of roles, what kind of career, what's the best for you. Because if you've been laid off, if you've been downsized, if you've been restructured, now's the time to maybe do some self-reflection. Like this coronavirus thing is here now. It's within all of us, but it's not going to last forever. So times like these sometimes give you an opportunity to reflect. Think about what you like, what you want in your career, what you want in your world. And that maybe, sometimes people always say, these things were meant to be or whatever, but, maybe this was meant to be to get you going into that new direction. So what I would say is start making a list of all the things that you like in your job, in your career, like the kind of work environment that you'd like to be in, the kind of roles that you like, the kind of work. Forget about compensation or anything like that, but make a list of everything. Where you want to be geographically. Do you want to work from home now that this is happening? Do you like working from home? Maybe that's something that you want to be doing after this is said and done. Obviously, we're all isolated right now. We're all in the office or at home, and we can't go anywhere. But this may be an opportunity. This may be something that you might say, yeah, you know what? Like, this is actually, I enjoy working from home. What do you want to wear? Do you want to be in casual clothes? Do you want to be a suit and tie every day? Take a look at all those things. How far do you want to drive to a company? Start making a list of all those things. And I did this exercise back in 2004 to 2005, and I had a list of about 60 things. Now, you don't have to have 60 items on your list. You might have 20 or 30 or 10, but think of all the things that are important to you, because from there you'll be able to compare any opportunities that come up with that list to see if you meet those as many of those points as you can. Like there's been through my 25 years, there's been about 3 real downturns that we made it through. So I would say in 2001, there was the .com bust, for those of you that are old enough to remember that, where things looked pretty bleak. 2008, 2009, there was the credit crash, credit downturn. And now in 2020, we have the coronavirus, and that impacts people, of course, so and job search. So what I'm getting at is just make sure that you have the list, you know what you're looking for, and that will really help you. And now that may mean that your career takes a bit of a pivot. Maybe you realize that tennis is your game. Tennis is what you really wanted to do. Well, maybe go down that path and explore those types of opportunities. So number 4, recognize that the job that you had may not be around anymore, and it may morph to something else. There may be jobs out there that are not going to be there after this is all said and done. As companies change how they're doing their work, they may become more efficient. They may kind of say, well, you know what, we don't need this type of position anymore. So realize that your job may change as time goes on. Speak with people. Number five, speak with people. I'm going through the list of top 12 if you're just joining us. Top 12 things you should do if you're worried about your job, or if you've just been laid off, or you've been downsized. So number five is speak with people, and not just by email. Reach out, have video calls with them, talk to them, build your network. Build your contacts. LinkedIn, social media. Now's the time to have those conversations with people a little bit more in depth than when you're working and so on. Sometimes, I was talking to somebody last week that hadn't talked to in a while, just kind of reconnecting, and we actually ended up having like an hour-long conversation. It was something that I didn't realize that he was doing, and from a business perspective, it actually might work, and there might be an opportunity there that I had never thought about. So connect with people, build your network, have meaningful conversations. The worst thing that you can do right now is really disconnect from people. People are at home. People are available in general. They have less things going on. So don't disconnect and try to be there. Post updates. Say you're looking for something new on your social media. Number six, do lots of e-learning. Read and watch videos, joining webinars like you are today. There's an explosion of webinars that have come through over the last week or so, and I'm sure you've been receiving them. Watch them, join them. Sign up, get on lists so you get advised, alerted to other webinars that are going on as well, and learn. Keep that e-learning, keep that learning going as well. That will help you understand what's going on. Number seven, again, 7 on my list of 12 things that I think you should do if you're worried about your job or you've lost your job. Number 7 is consider taking courses. And by the way, I see some of the questions coming in too. If you want a copy of this, just email me afterwards. I'll give you my email right now, and I'll give it to you again later. So it's marc.belaiche, so it's MARC BELAICHE at torontojobs.ca. Again, that's Marc, MARC .Belaiche, BELAICHE at torontojobs.ca. And as I get more comfortable and know all the different features about the webinar, I'll be able to perhaps pin it up on here or show it on the screen here. I'm not sure how to do it yet, but we'll figure it out as time goes on. Just again, if you're joining just now, I see a couple of comments here. If you're just joining, my name is Marc Belaiche. I'm president of torontojobs.ca and torontoentrepreneurs.ca, and just sharing with you some of my top 12 tips that I think if you've been downsized or laid off, that I think you should do. I've been in the recruiting business for 25 years now. This is actually my 25th year, which is most shocking of years to be celebrating at 25 years in recruiting, but nonetheless, that's why we're here. Number 7, consider taking courses. Okay, there's a lot of online courses right now going on as well. Take courses. E-learning is going to be really hot in the next few weeks, few months. There's no classes anywhere, so just sign up to some e-learning. There's some courses by some of the vocational colleges, schools, and so on that you can learn on different things. Maybe there's some diplomas or degrees that you can do online or take some online courses. That would be helpful. Number 8. Consider starting up that business that you've been doing maybe part-time or you've always thought about doing. So maybe you've been doing something part-time. Maybe you've got something going on part-time that you've been involved with different areas in your basement, or you've always wanted to do that part-time company, and now you can do that. Maybe there's something that is available for you to do that you can expand upon. Maybe you can sell your products or services through Amazon. Maybe you can provide some ideas that or some products that you might have that you might know about that may be an opportunity for you to do at this point. So kind of think about that, starting up a business. And again, this coronavirus thing is obviously not going to last forever. There's going to be an end to it at some point. think about maybe an opportunity. Maybe you want to partner with somebody who's in the business that you're looking to get into. Maybe there's something that you can help with them on that. Number 9, research. Do a lot of research. What jobs are being posted right now? What companies are hiring? As I said earlier, even in bad times, there's always companies hiring. Healthcare is obviously pretty big right now. Maybe you can help them out. Maybe that's an area that you have always thought that you'd like to be in. So research. Look at our website. Look at torontojobs.ca. Check out the postings that are there and what companies are hiring and what types of positions are hiring, because this will be a pivot time where jobs will pivot from here to different directions. So it may or may not impact you. It maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but it will definitely pivot on some types of positions. Number 10, stay in touch with your employer. As much as it may be painful and as much as it may be easy or to pin blame on your employer, in most situations of what we're going through, it's not your employer's fault. Perhaps your employer's businesses may be impacted by what's going on here. Maybe it's not, but in most cases, it's not your employer's fault. When the economy improves and rebounds again, there's probably nothing more that your employer will want to do than bring you back on. The business, the company, your job. So stay in touch with that employer. It will be easy to lay blame. It'll be easy to say, well, it was the employer's fault and so on and so forth. But it's not, it's not. And think of if the coronavirus never hit, would you still have your job? And if the answer is no, then that was something else. But if you say yes, then of course there's that opportunity to go back. So, and just on that about staying in touch with your employer, I would just really say, being humble. We're all in this together. It's a bit of a community of what's going on right now. Really be humble and know that, we're all in this together. Whether you're a business owner, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're an employee, whatever the case may be, we're all in this together, and it's impacting everybody in one form or another. Number 11, set up a work from home area of your house. So go on to try to find a spot if you can, or apartment or whatever you can. Just find an area where you're not going to be disturbed by a cat or dog or baby or noise or anything like that. Really try to find a spot that is yours, even if it's for just a couple of hours. I know it might be a little bit tough. You can't go to a library or anything like that, of course, but if you can try to find a spot in your home or apartment or condo or whatever it is, that is just yours and that it can be quiet, that would be good. Especially if you're doing a Skype interview. A lot of companies are doing FaceTime, Skype interviews right now, WhatsApp. Make sure to download those softwares to your phone. But make sure that you have a spot where it is quiet, because if you do have a Skype interview, if there is an area that you're going to want to do an interview with, it has to be a quiet area. I'll get into other webinars at some point in the future, but as to what to do during Skype and FaceTime and WhatsApp interviews. But just a couple of things really quick. Just have a quiet spot, as I mentioned. Have a blank wall. Make sure that your equipment is working properly. Make sure that you're centered in the screen. These are the kinds of things that you should know for when you're doing Skype or FaceTime or WhatsApp interviews. And lastly, number 12 is it's easy to just stay at home, but you're not going to die by just going outside by this coronavirus. The streets are empty, but you have to get some exercise. You have to go out, do a bike ride if you can. I mean, obviously today is not a great day with the snow, but go for a walk, bike, ride, run, do something just to get some exercise. It's important to keep your mental health strong. And I always find that when I go away, when I walk out, when I take the dog for a walk or whatever, I start thinking of things outside the box. If you're just inside the house and you're just thinking, wow, this is all I'm getting, I'm seeing the same thing over and over again, it wears you down. So just try to make sure you get some exercise and get out and get the brain stimulated, the heart going, and so on, because that will definitely help you with putting things into perspective on the job search side of it. Like I said, I know this is impacting everybody in many different ways, and I'm just coming purely from a job search perspective. So again, if you're just joining, my name is Mark Belache. I'm president of TorontoJobs.ca. Got about 5 minutes left that I'm going to cover here, and then I'll go through some of the questions that people have posted on here as well, and try to answer as many questions as I can. So one question I did get was, are companies doing video interviews? And the answer is yes. In this day and age, sometimes I'll start with a telephone interview, and then from there, we'll go onto Skype or FaceTime or WhatsApp. A lot of times it's just companies like us, for example, as well. Like we just go directly to a video interview. It just puts a face to the name, puts things a little bit more into perspective, and it's pretty much mainstream now in terms of video interviews. So, so to that question, are companies doing video interviews? Are companies hiring, laying off, or staying the same in terms of jobs? Each company is going to be impacted in their own different way. Some are going to cut hours. Some are going to do work sharing. There are work sharing opportunities that the government has in place for companies. So companies are going to explore that. Some companies are just going to go right to termination. Some are going to do layoffs. It's all over the map. But each company is in the process of evaluating what they should be doing. Maybe some other questions here. I'll just go to roll through. What jobs do we offer? Shafali. If you visit our website, you'll see all the different jobs that we recruit for. If you have a question, just post your questions below. But yeah, check out our website, TorontoJobs.ca up here, and you can see the different types of jobs that we are involved with and that we will throw in here. So. How the situation is going to be in the next 2 months, especially for new immigrants, data analytics experience, but just in general, new Canadians. You know, first of all, timing wise, like, I don't know. I mean, who knows? Like, you know, I think we're on a 2-week, you know, self-isolation, everything else. What happens after that? I don't know. It could be another 2 weeks, could be months. If you're a real optimist, you can say, hey, in 2 weeks from now, everything's going to go back to normal, which I probably doubt. If you're a real pessimist, you might be thinking this is going to be happening for the next year or two or longer. And I read a lot of things, and I hear all, you know, both sides of the equation where people say, you know, they're going to, it's going to get better, it's not going to get better. But the reality is that nobody knows, right? Nobody knows. So you just got to make the most of what we have right now. For new Canadians, it's going to be especially difficult because if you're a new Canadian, most people will say that you know, you don't have Canadian experience. Well, now you don't have Canadian experience, and what happens? So if I were a new Canadian right now, just coming to the country, what I would do is try to do as much, whatever it is, volunteer work, get something on your resume, get some experience showing on there. Try to do whatever it is to just be involved with something, whatever it is that you can do from home. Maybe there's some, you know, anything from data, phone calls, data input, phone calls, calling people, posting on social media, anything that you can do. A lot of non-for-profits are going to be hurt by what's going on right now too, where companies are not, companies and people are not donating to non-for-profits as much. So, and they always need people. So try to reach out to those types of organizations as well. But again, just to start building your resume. How the job scenario is in Canada now, post-virus outbreak, and what the right time, when the right time. So if you're outside of Canada and you're looking to move to Canada, first of all, who knows if you can get a flight here, but I would, if I were thinking about coming to Canada, I'd probably just say, look, I'm just going to put this on hold until I know a little bit more as to what's going on. But the job situation is frozen, like in a lot of cases. A lot of companies, pubs, restaurants have closed down, and much like everything else, a lot of it are shut down. So I would be really, be aware of as to what's going on here, kind of thing. What else? Pavan. Well, that's the Pavan's question. I got that already. Siddharth, Sid, HR professional. So you wanted to move to Canada in May. How the job scenario is. Yeah, so we kind of covered that, I think. Job opportunities for new immigrants, especially in accounting and finance. So I would say that the mainstream accounting type roles, are going to be tougher to find for sure. More skilled, more. We always get roles for public accounting. Those types of roles are tough to fill. And so if there's one area that maybe you want to explore, maybe learning about Caseware, QuickBooks, take some e-courses, learn those products. There's lots of tutorials available that you can learn from there. Job option for a fresher who have completed PG diploma, project management from Canada. Again, same kind of thing. I would check out some of the job listings, what some of the requirements are that people are posting for, and from there you can really explore the different areas and different types of roles that are being posted on there. So commonly heard that newcomers aren't welcomed in Canada. By the way, thanks for all your questions. If you're just joining, my name is Mark Belage, president of TorontoJobs.ca. I'm here with Alex, and we're just trying to handle as many questions as we can. So newcomers aren't welcomed in Canada for management job, and they prefer Canadians in those. What do you think about it? Management, as in management of IT projects, telecom, construction projects. I can't answer on all different jobs or areas. My background's a little bit more in accounting, so I know a little bit more on the accounting side, but just in general, as a company, yeah, just kind of to my point before about that, preferring Canadians. The old thing, and this has happened in all my life, this person doesn't have Canadian experience. This has been going on. My dad was an immigrant. He came from France back in 1958, and he didn't have Canadian experience, and he was a veterinarian that had his degree from France, and he had to work in a meat packing company because he doesn't have the Canadian experience. So you're going to get that whatever sector it is, whether it's IT, whether it's telecom, construction, whatever it is. You have to work your way up, and some of the most successful people that I've seen, new Canadians that is, who I've been in touch with over the years, they came in and they had a very humble. They were very humble when they started. They were, hey, look, I'll do anything. I'll show you what I can do. And those people really, really did well in their careers. A lot of them became very, very senior level people, and didn't forget where they came from, and the new Canadian challenge was very difficult at the beginning. So just be very humble, and just be aware of that as time goes on. Yep. All right. So what kind of job? Right. So this question here: did a diploma in business management? What kind of job I can do in healthcare? I would, I'm not sure. Like, healthcare is changing very, very quickly right now. So check out the job posting. Check out what's listed. Find out, read articles about what their needs are, and you will definitely find that will be helpful to guide you in terms of what may be there. If you're already working in a hospital, speak with somebody. I see the question is, right now I'm doing security in a hospital. Well, talk to people that are there. What kind of roles are they looking for? Please throw a light on how an employee who has started to work just 2 weeks back and temporarily laid off can avail of any government aid. So, so my understanding is you need a minimum of 600 hours in order to be able to collect EI. They are voting on an emergency bill tomorrow in Ottawa, which is an $82 billion aid for all different things, businesses, employees, and so on. So I would say to watch for that, because that is that's what's going to really help a lot of people. I don't know that if you started 2 weeks ago and you've been temporarily laid off, that you will get specifically government aid. I don't know what happened before the 2 weeks, but make sure to get, regardless, make sure to get a record of employment. It's called an ROE from your employer, and that will be submitted to Service Canada, and from there you'll be able to at least try to get EI and benefits and so on and so forth. Do I think the IT sector will get impacted due to this? I'll take a couple more questions here. Do I think the IT sector will get impacted due to this coronavirus? I don't think any sector is not going to get impacted. I think there will be some definite restructure kind of type thing, working from home. Maybe some projects will get shelved. I don't know. I mean, obviously there's less money flowing around through companies, through the economy. So that will result in layoffs, and that's the unfortunate truth of what's going on right now. What else? Are there any special funds that government planning to support business to boost the economy? Again, I think this $82 billion campaign that is being voted on tomorrow will help. There's some tax deferral on the table. There's some help for banks have an actual, for businesses, they have an opportunity for people to defer payments right now as well. So talk to your banks as well. If you have a business and you're running a bank and you have a bank account, just talk to them. If you have a loan, that is. And that's it. So feel free to reach out to me. I'll give you my email address. I just have a few more things about how we can help you. TorontoJobs.ca can help you, and I'll give you my email address as well. And I did mention earlier about some prizes and stuff I have too, so I'll give those. I'll tell you how you can win those as well. So how TorontoJobs.ca can help you. We're going to offer webinars to people who are looking for a job. This webinar, we'll do some Facebook Live things. Send me some feedback. Tell me what you want to hear about. Tell me what you think would be good. We're also offering outplacement services to clients, to companies. So if you're at a company and you're working there and you need some coaching, maybe you've been with the company for a while, you want some outplacement services, it's designed to help you. Talk to your employer about what services might be available. Have them reach out to us, and we can certainly help. If you need some coaching, you need some help on your resume, we can certainly help out with them. We're going to be providing digital services to our clients. We have a lot of mailing lists, we have a lot of email lists and so on, so we're going to be doing that. I did write a book called Tales from the Recruiter, and that's the prize that I'm going to be giving away, and I'm going to tell you how you can win them soon. But if you go to talesfromtherecruiter.ca, you can order a copy of the book. It's only $20, including taxes and shipping anywhere in Canada. We're not making any money on it between the cost of printing and mail and all that kind of stuff. But it would be shipped right to your door through Canada Post. It's also available on Amazon, Kobo, and Kindle, so you can download it from there as well. Just wanted to also promote our sister company, TorontoEntrepreneurs.ca. Back in 2001, when the dot-com meltdown happened, a lot of people went on to start up their own businesses, and there was a lot of growth in that sector. So when that happened, and when the financial credit downturn hit in 2008, 2009, a lot of people went on to start up their own businesses. So I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live webinar this Wednesday at 2 o'clock on our TorontoEntrepreneurs.ca Facebook page. So if you want to join that, become a member of that, you'll get the alert. But it's going to be at 2 o'clock Eastern time on our TorontoEntrepreneurs.ca Facebook platform. And then providing on one-on-one coaching where needed. So if you need some help one-on-one, you can just go on to talesfromtherecruiter.ca, and you'll be able to see some options for you for some one-on-one coaching as well. So again, talesfromtherecruiter.ca for the book, TorontoEntrepreneurs.ca if you're thinking about starting up a business or you have a business and you want to talk about more about that. Our Facebook Live happens with the TorontoEntrepreneurs.ca platform Wednesday at 2 o'clock. And visit torontojobs.ca as well for all the postings as well. If you want to email me your resume, a couple of ways of doing that. One is by emailing to resumes@torontojobs.ca. That's resumes@torontojobs.ca. And my email address, which is again marc.balaiche, marc.balaiche, my last name, @torontojobs.ca, which should see my name on the listing. And just some concluding comments is that things will get better. It's just hard to know. It's tough right now. It was tough in 2001. It was tough in 2008, 2009. We'll get through this. Who know? It's hard to know when, but have faith that things will get better. Back in 2008, 2009, things seemed very, very bleak. And, you roll the clock forward 10, 11, 12 years, and the job market just took off from there. It's been just continuous growth. So hopefully that will be on the other side of what's going on right now. Give us your feedback and what you'd like to see, like send me an email and so on and so forth. And, just in conclusion, stay positive, move around, as I mentioned before, get exercise. It will make you think outside of the box a little bit, get your mind at ease a little bit, that the world is not ending as we know it. It may change for sure, but, everybody should, be safe, stay safe, really be careful of each other and update your resume. And I mentioned about how you can win my book. So first 5 people that email me right now will win a mailed copy of my book. So just email me. My email address is marc.balaiche, so first name dot last name @torontojobs.ca. So Alex just posted that, so everybody can see it. That's great. Thanks, Alex. And first 5 people, give me your address, and we'll get a book shipped off to you. I want to thank you for joining, and I want to thank Alex for being my right-hand person here today. Thanks, Alex. And stay in touch. Stay in touch, and wish you all the best, and stay safe. And let's hope this thing goes away quickly for all our benefit. All right. Look forward to staying in touch with you and signing off. Thanks so much.